because what happened, folks, we had a radio show last night, and in case you don't know it, I'm a bona fide out there public figure called a precog. They call me a bilocator. But in the old days, they called me a psychic or a prophet or mystic or shaman or, let's see, here's all the keys that when we started in the 80s. Okay, now I got started and ordained as a minister in the Gold Pyramid in Houston, Texas. And then we had all this music coming out from the 60s with Woodstock and all of that in New York. I think it's about 50 years now. They're going to have a big thing. But I didn't get to go to Woodstock. I was going to, but I was pregnant. So I couldn't make the trip because my friends, we were NASA nerds. So we dealt with ETs and NASA. But to make a long story short, I didn't go. But since then, I wanted to go to Vietnam, but I was a girl, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me because I didn't believe in war. So something was going on inside me. Now, I'd already been to White Sands, New Mexico. Remember, I told you earlier today that I had died in second grade, had the blood taken out. So, and then I died again, 74, placental-previa, having my fourth child. But when man was walking on the moon, a man that was a real pretty guy came to my door, and my husband was at work at NASA, and he was NASA employed and worked in the Grumman. No, his daddy worked for Grumman, but Steve worked directly for NASA and worked in the Man Walking on the Moon, and the girls would have to type it up. They had typing tools. We didn't have computers like this. We had big rooms full of computers. Everybody remembers in the 60s, Vietnam War, supposed to be a police action, but we called it war anyway. So a lot of people didn't want that. But where I'm going with this is I've lived a long time, but I got all my paperwork done in 67 in the government. So I'm one of those kids that was smart, and I got put in the government by the Men in Black. Guy smoking a cigarette outside the James Bond movie and got me out of high school, and I was twirling batons and knives and stuff. So I've got a long story to tell, 50 years worth. But I was working. I didn't get to go to war, but I got to hear a bunch of stuff at NASA. But I was keeping my mouth shut until 2007, and I still was supposed to help people. In 67, we had, before MUFON, we set up a UFO business, ACIR. And that was the first one, and NASA people, and then the Wisconsin, the Lawrensons were in Wisconsin, a couple, and then later on I met J. Allen Hynek on a plane way later, and I've been to in 68, Sean, that's when I went up to Montauk Point and did all that. So just so you kids out there know there's a lot going on that's true, and I know it because I've lived it. But I don't believe in all the nightmares because when I was a little girl, I saw something that I shouldn't have, and it scared me, so I would never watch scary movies. I got really sick. My parents took me to see Godzilla, so I got really sick in my stomach, and my dad got really mad because they had to leave Godzilla, so it scarred me about never see anything because I got so sick. I think I was a empath born into it. So we'll have to look up when Godzilla came out, the original one. But that's when I decided no more scary movies.
1956.
Well, that's when I got sick. So that scarred me. And my mom took me to see Bambi. So look up when Bambi was, and I felt so sorry. I got scared really bad because of the fire. And Mother was like, well, we can't, what's wrong with this kid? So nobody ever told me. See, my grandmother was empathic and was in a secret society of the women of the Star, Eastern Star, but Mama wouldn't talk about it. And Mama didn't believe in all that. Mom was real hardcore, very Democrat, but very hardcore when it came to nightmares and not believing, because Mama was empathic, and she would dream about airplanes falling from the sky, and they did before it happened. It freaked me out as a little girl, but so she wouldn't talk about her, but she had. So what I am is I'm a multi-generational person that has empathic qualities, and now my grandkids have them. What it is I think it's just real sensitive nervous systems, because you can sense people more if you're in a grocery store or going to a convenience store. That's just a sample. So I'm going all this way is why nightmares and why not nightmares. So basically, I didn't watch bad movies. But then one time I cheated as an adult, saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that was the only time. And I knew after that I never watched another. Now my kids watch them, and I say, no, Mom, I go in my room, shut my door. So I don't think this is from any of that stuff. But my family is well known for being empathic. Both grandmothers on both sides could read people, were intuitive, empathic. So I know it runs in the family, or at least it's. They didn't train me though, because my family didn't believe like Wiccan or voodoo or none of that. They were real protected in Louisiana. See, all my relatives are in Louisiana and Missouri, but they were school teachers. And even if I went back now, we had a family reunion. Most of them taught at the Northeast University or the high schools, because their mother had 12 children, and she was a school teacher in Missouri. She taught little Indians and stuff back when they could teach with an 8th grade education. So my family goes way back, and I got people that was in the wars and helped found the country. A couple of them signed Declaration of Independence and all that. So I got that blood too. So now to the story. Last night, Sean and Kimberly came on my show, and they opened my mind a little bit, because I'm very close-minded when it comes to bad things and bad dreams. But in UFOs and ETs, and I don't like bad aliens. I don't like talking about abductions, even though I've had abduction and I've had good encounters. I always went with the good side. I don't like to talk about the bad stuff. So I'll turn it around. But last night, I stopped praying for a while. I had my daughter die. And my husband died, but I still loved God, and thought, well, I was there, and I saw part of him get up and walk out, and with my eyes. And I was there when he died in the hospital, in the ICU, and I saw a part of him become a little baby, where you put your hands up and they get that goo-goo-eyed. Everybody's seen it if you've ever seen a newborn. They just have their little hands up by their mouth. So he turned into that. I was seeing him turn into a baby. I was like, he's come back to baby. He's going to be born probably right here in this hospital. I swear I thought that. I swear to God I did. Fortunately, they have babies where he was, or maybe I knew. And then a part of him turned a little gray. It just shriveled up, and it looked like a gray little person. And my husband told me that they made biologicals, but he also knew the other kind that had sex and stuff too. So there's more than that, and that's a long story, but we'll try to tell some of that with Ahmad. But I opened my mind up last night, so I decided I'd pray again to God, because I've been real mad because my daughter left, even though I knew she was a little hybrid ET. But I'm still upset. Still am. I'm still a little depressed. You don't like to lose your kids, okay? It's just the way you are on this planet. I've had past lives and memories, reincarnation. But last night, I went to bed. I was tired after we did the show. So I went to bed naturally, where you just lay down and go to sleep. I don't know what time it was, 11 or so. And then I went from my sleep state, but I prayed. I say prayer is sending and meditation is receiving, and a lot of people argue with that, but that was my, brought up Unity Church, New Age kind of life, being open-minded after being a Christian born, and then Latter-day Saint, May 12th, 1972, in Houston, Latter-day Saints. So I learned all the Mormon and the Angel Moroni and all that. And anyway, I've read all kind of world religions, I told y'all. So I did my little prayer, went to sleep. Then I'm real good at this because nobody taught it to me, but I learned it because I lived it. I'd go into this lucid dream state where you get up and you're aware and you get up in lucid dreams. So you know where you're at in lucid dreams. And if you haven't studied dreams, that's all part of our ACO Metaphysical Institute and our Ascension Awakening classes. We do all these 8 weeks classes, and we can do them in webinars and teach everybody. There's over 32 schools, and we've got webinar teachers. Tommy Hawksblood's one, Dr. Rick Allen Miller's one, I got Erica Boosterhain. It's her birthday, so happy birthday, Erica. But a lot of people out there teach webinars, and we have real life things. But I don't ever talk about dreams, so you just hear that Theresa hasn't been willing to do it. She hasn't taught it. She ain't trying to make money. She's got all kind of books, never promoted them, all this stuff. It's not about the money. But I got up out of this lucid dream and knew I was conscious. And I was in this lucid dream sitting on a planet on the grass. And I turned around and I went into another dimension, knowing it. Conscious, just like I'm talking to you now, just as conscious as right now. Everything, and you know, in your dreams, you'll dream color, and everything feels the same with your hands, or you may fly around. I've flown over Utah and stuff in lucid dreams, knowing I'm dreaming, and lucid. Go back as truck driving across Salt Lakes and see exactly what I'd already dreamed. I'd already seen the Salt Lake. I'd already been all over the United States in my dreams, so I didn't have to go it, but I did anyway, and drove across the country. So I know the difference, folks. I'm not a dummy. I knew I was not lucid dreaming. I'm really good at that. Years and years, 30, 40, 50 years of lucid dreaming. This was the next level, and I've been doing it for a couple of years, having conscious dreams as a bilocator, an interdimensional traveler. But I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to admit the truth, and Janet's been fighting me tooth and nail for at least 7 years trying to get me to admit who I am, and I wouldn't do it. So I think I needed something to shock my system, because I'd been asking God, but I'd quit asking him about, show me hell. If you want me to believe and you take my daughter and Jesus is who he was, and what I believed in the Bible, and Jesus walked on, and Tommy says he was back with him and all that. And I was a little girl and think I was Jesus' daughter, and I went to the pyramid and I have all these memories of past lives. Then you just show me. I want to go down like he did. I want to see this. Well, be careful what you ask for, because I've never ever, I don't believe, I hope I've convinced you, I don't believe in evil or bad stuff, as far as I don't want to think about it in my life, okay? And I've gone up against it and I've died. I know, but you got to listen. I was conscious, and I turned around on that grass, and I was in another world, and there were people. And these people looked like they were from different planets. Now, I don't dream this stuff, and I don't lucid dream this, okay? And now, I've had some different, but always ask me. I know what level of brain or mind or consciousness I was in. But these people came over to me and were standing there with me. There was only like 3 of them, and I said, okay, I'm dead, because I know I went to sleep. I remember that. I know I was in a lucid dream, and I know I was just sitting on the grass, and then I turned, and there was a parallel universe, interdimensional window portal, and I can do those as a psychic and as a human in 3D, but I don't practice it. But I did it. I've done it a couple of times with people, but you have to be with a certain person. I did one with a musician once in Hawaii, and I went up over Hawaii and saw the glass domes, and I did art, so I've got that experience. But in this conscious dream, lucid dream, interdimensional bilocator travel, that I never can talk about stuff because I don't know how to get there. So now I get to be there and say, oh, wow. So, okay, I'm dead, and this is what? Is this where I asked to go? God, Jesus. So I'm in hell now, right? This planet. So these people, I stand up. I literally get up off the grass, brush myself off, and stand up. These people walk up to me and say, well, they look at me, and the girl says, what kind are you? What kind? And I said, what kind am I? And then all of a sudden this guy runs up like, okay, now this is the way it feels like in my brain, okay, because I'm observing myself that's out of a dream, in a lucid dream, outside the lucid dream, and now I'm conscious in this world, knowing I'm conscious, but I'm dead, because I'm having, my brain and my mind has to tell me who I am back on the planet, because I'm there. So I have to say, okay, you're dead. And you ask Jesus, God, so they finally answered your prayer, but they killed you again, or you're dead again in bed at home. So you can do this. You wanted to go, here you are, so this is hell. And the girl said, it was like she could know what I was thinking.